How's it going? Here at Valkyrie Homestead, we raise a number of different poultry products, and we have a couple different ways that we raise them. Right now I am in with our egg layers, and we have them in our little mobile chicken coop. This is loosely based on, I think Justin Rhodes has like a chickshaw, and I kind of just made this up as I went, but it was inspired by that, and it works really well. So with this chickshaw coop style, I really like the fact that we can move it around the property. It's really easy to move. I did have to kind of move the wheel geometry. You can see that like the wheel used to be a lot farther forward, and the handle was a little bit different, but I got that kind of figured out, and it's pretty easy to move. We probably have had our worst predator pressure with the egg layers we've had. There was a point we were short on an energizer, and we kind of picked them to not have an energized fence, and unfortunately a fox did figure that out and pretty quickly decimated our flock. It was a number of things went into it. We bought some new chickens to kind of replace some old chickens, and for whatever reason, no matter what we tried, clipping wings, all that business, they would not stay in the netting. They would just fly right over it, and they were getting picked off quickly, but not as quickly as the rest of the flock. But they were staying over in our shed. They would roost up there, and I think that same fox was picking them off. And then when they ran out, he came into this area and did a number on the flock, unfortunately. So now we keep all our egg layers in an energized net, and then I installed a new chick door, because the other one, it seemed like it wasn't working all the time, but that's been the worst thing that's happened on our farm as far as deaths. And coming out to, the rest of the year, it wasn't a lot of chickens. We were kind of towards the end of the flock's life, but it still sucks. With this chickshaw style, like, not only is it mobile, and so it's nice to be able to move around the actual paddock so they're not like constantly pooping in one particular area, but it also gives them a spot underneath the coop. If there's like a hawk flying over, I will see them all run underneath here. It gives them a little protection that way. And then if I can show you, I made this one so the whole roof lifts up. Yeah, it's not the lightest, but the ground inside there is all wire mesh, and so if they go to the bathroom, then it'll just fall right onto the ground and fertilize the pasture. So yeah, we make sure that this is fully energized, and that door is closed every night, just to make sure that no foxes will be getting in here. I have looked out for the fox. I haven't seen him in the last few months. I'm sure he's out there somewhere, but last I saw him, he was over in the woods over there. And some of our neighbors, they have free-range chickens up on the hill over there, and they haven't had any issues yet. So yeah, that's what we got going on here in the chicken coop. And yeah, we also have the chicken tractor. Now, this is what we use to raise our meat birds. We don't have any meat birds right now, but if we did, they would be in here. Now, with the chicken tractor, the reason we have this isn't so much to keep the meat birds wrangled. We have it is mainly to keep predators away from them. Meat birds aren't the smartest, they're not the most athletic, and keeping them in this chicken tractor really helps with keeping them alive. We use this chicken tractor throughout our pasture, and we basically move it every morning and every night. So the chickens are on fresh grass both morning and night. I think they do most of their pooping at night, so getting them on a fresh grass right before they go to bed is definitely a good thing. I built this one. A lot of plans out there have them built at 2 feet tall, but I built this one at 3 feet tall because I'm a little bit taller of a guy and I don't like crunching over, and it works out really well. And I think this gap right here really helps from air catching this this tarp and acting like a sail. A couple of the perks that we've had put on this is we have a chick lift, which basically, see this, if you step on this spot, it'll kick this plate up and it'll basically jack the back end of this chicken tractor up, and it'll be a little bit easier to move. So yeah, that chicken tractor is definitely very useful. We've used this for our turkeys. They have a smaller one in there right now, and I've had friends even move pigs in there. The one thing you need to watch out for, or a few things you need to watch out for the chicken tractor, is in order to keep your birds safe, you gotta train your birds to move with it. It doesn't take very long for them to learn. When you jack the back up and grab the rope on the front, that they need to start moving to the front. But if you go too fast early on, you can run them over, or they'll spit out the back. I don't think I've actually injured one from that, but I have had them flop out of the back, because that gap is, pretty big. When they're smaller, they can fit under it. So just moving slow. And then also with gaps, if you're on uneven ground, this pasture is, I don't really know what it was used for before we got here, but there are some spots where there's some pretty big dips, and if you have the corner on one of those dips and it's sticking out, I have had a fox, or maybe it was a raccoon, pull a chicken out. At one point we had 35 chickens, I think, in there, and I came back the next day and there was 33. So whoever was sleeping in this corner, unfortunately, did succumb to a predator, and that was because there was a big gap in that corner. So now I just make sure that it's always sitting flush all the way around, and if for some reason I can't get it flush, I'll actually block off with like a 4x4, kind of around the areas that it's popping up. All right, now our third area we have for our poultry is our turkeys. These guys, we don't carry turkeys year round, but they're here now, and the way we raise them, the way we raise them is we raise them in the brooder for a few weeks until they get big enough and the weather's warm enough that they can be out on pasture. And then I put them into another chicken tractor. So this one's a little bit smaller. I built this one this year because we had chickens overlapping, meat birds overlapping with the turkeys. And so they stayed in here, and we moved them just like meat birds twice a day for another few weeks. And then when I think they were probably 6 weeks, 8 weeks old, they were big enough that I ended up putting the net up and letting them kind of free range. So they're now pretty big, and I think they're right around 2 months old. And they're big enough now where I haven't had any predator issues when they've been this size. Now this fence we do not keep energized. I just don't have enough energizers. And I still keep the chicken tractor in there. And these white ones, they haven't roosted on the actual chicken tractor. When I was in Alabama, we did raise some of the brown heritage breed ones, and they roosted on everything, and they ended up kind of destroying the tarp on the other chicken tractor I have. I had to replace that tarp. But last year I actually made 2 of these roosting bars, and they're just out in the open, and they actually sleep on here quite a bit. And the sun to the back. And we are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Helene. That kind of came through here, and we got hit pretty decently. Not as bad as some areas, but we definitely had a lot of wind, a lot of rain, and I had a setup pretty similar to this, where I had the chicken tractor in, a netting, and I had 2 of these roosting bars. We had a few more turkeys, and they just stayed on the roosting bar, didn't go inside the shelter, and they toughed out the storm, didn't have anyone die, and I was really impressed. They did have a tree fall through their netting, and they decided to try to escape, but everybody went right back in, and I fixed you did a temporary pen. It was really small, but they were all fine. So yeah, I think doing it this way, I've only lost 1 turkey to what I assume was a predator, and I don't even know if I've had turkeys and they get this thing where in their like ankle joint, like the joint that moves backwards on their leg, where something happens in their development and they get like a wonky leg. And so it's one of those wonky leg ones. They usually tend to be smaller because the other birds will kind of pick on them. And it had died, and I think maybe it had died from them picking on them, and then you know, a vulture or something came down and I don't know, did something. But I've only lost 1 doing it this way. I do keep an eye on them pretty regularly just to make sure that nothing's getting into their fencing area, and that they're all doing well. I do a count on them every day, and we're right where we should be. Let's do my count real quick. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Yep, we're right at 18. I do have one with a wonky leg, and I think I am probably going to have to cull that one before time, because they do get kind of picked on, and it does suck. They're not picking on it too bad right now at all, so I'm kind of leaving it alone. But usually as you get a little bit older, it just happens. So yeah, that's kind of what the systems we've put in place. From the predator pressure we have had, and how we intend to kind of combat it moving forward. So if that fox comes back and starts doing more dastardly deeds, then I will probably try to take out the fox. I mean, yeah, it's always a bummer when an animal goes down on your watch. So yeah, that's poultry at Valkyrie Homestead. So if you have any questions, throw them in the comments down below, and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. We're pretty solid raising birds here, but I mean, there's always stuff I can learn, and always knowledge I try to share with those who have questions. So thank you for watching. Have a good night.